Hello, my name is Paula Wilkie, and I am the great aunt of a special young man, Joshua Cumbie. I would like to tell you a story about this young man. The month of October is Spina Bifida month, and although this month is almost over, I thought this story should be told now. Plus, with the holidays coming up, I would like to see this nephew of mine receive something very special. Josh's parents, Melissa and Jay Cumbie, found out during her pregnancy in 2009 that Josh would be born with spina bifida. No parent wants to receive this news, but because of their strong faith in God, Melissa and Jay knew that God would be with them. Josh was born on June 16th, 2009, my very own birthday actually, confirming to them that he did in fact have spina bifida. Josh had his very first surgery at 1 day old, his second surgery at 7 days old, 18 more surgeries before he was 2.5, and his 42nd surgery was on August 16th of this year. Now let me give you a little history of what the past 6 months have entailed for this young man and his family. On Easter Sunday, April the 9th of this year, Josh was already in the hospital after an emergency neurosurgery he needed on April the 8th. Around 3 p.m. on Easter Sunday, an incident happened where he choked so severely it caused a total airway obstruction, and he had no pulse, no oxygen, and no heartbeat for over 10 minutes. He died right in front of his mother's eyes, but she did not leave his side. A code blue was called, and he flatlined for around 10 minutes, but was brought back to life. I was actually on the phone with Melissa while all this was occurring, and she and I were calling out to God to help Josh. As long as I live, I will never forget hearing one of the nurses or doctors in the background of the phone say, "We've got him back." Easter Sunday of all days, Josh died and was brought back to life by God through the medical team at OU Children's Hospital. Needless to say, that was one of the scariest days for this precious family's life, and we have all been so very thankful that Josh is still here with us, that he is okay, and that no brain injury or other severe damage was caused. What could have been an absolute worst day of their life turned out to be the day that God worked a miracle, and we are all so very thankful. But because of the damage caused in Josh's throat with this particular incident, he could no longer swallow or eat. Therefore, Josh had surgery number 40 on May 8th to place a gastro tube into his stomach so that he would be able to receive nutrition. And he still has that tube to this day. After this procedure, he was then transferred to Bethany Children's Center Rehab on May the 9th. During that stay, he did daily OT, PT, and special speech therapy sessions called neuromuscular electrical stimulation. This was to help strengthen his swallowing muscles and vocal cords. Josh spent his 14th birthday as an inpatient at Bethany Rehab, but his family made the best of the day and even found a way to blow out birthday candles without a cake, since he was not able to eat or drink by mouth. His party was, of course, Oklahoma City Thunder themed. Josh still had lots of progress to make, but he was able to go home on Monday, June the 19th. Before the incident on Easter, Josh had been able to eat and drink by mouth his entire life. Since Easter Sunday, he has had multiple swallow studies to see if it is safe for him to eat or drink again by mouth, but all of those have shown him to be an aspiration risk in every food or drink category. For a kid who loves food, this part has been especially tough on him. At Josh's follow-up appointment with his neurosurgeon on June the 27th, a week after he had been home from Bethany Rehab, the neurosurgeon shared that Josh's MRI results showed that the areas putting pressure on his vocal cords and swallowing nerves were larger than his previous MRI and that he needed a big neurosurgery to help relieve this pressure in hopes that it would not cause permanent damage to the nerves. Josh's neurosurgeon fit him in for surgery the very next week on July the 5th, only 2 weeks after getting to go home from Bethany Rehab. On the night of surgery, and even days after, Josh suffered repeated vomiting and aspiration episodes that made his lungs very weak and led to the need for repeat breathing tubes and eventually a life-supporting ventilator to keep him alive and breathing. After many failed attempts to remove the breathing tubes and to take Josh off the ventilator, it proved that he was not going to be able to breathe on his own, and he required tracheotomy surgery to place a tracheostomy. Because he was still in the ICU of Children's Hospital, this procedure was necessary for him to be able to transfer back to Bethany Rehab, where he and his mother are still at today. But he is getting stronger. These last 6 months have been some of the hardest of times for Melissa and Jay, with the trials with Josh, with their family not all being under the same roof, and then receiving some of the hardest news yet when Jay, Josh's father, lost his job of 17 years. Needless to say, it has been very tough. Josh and his family, though, have faith in God and know He does not allow pain without a purpose, and trust that He is somehow working all this together for their good and His glory. But this has not been an easy journey, and Josh especially could use some extra joy in his life. Josh has been through so much in his 14 years of life, and he is truly a living miracle and a special hero to our family and so many others, as he has handled all of these trials and strife with so much patience and bravery, and has continued to have joy and stay positive in the hardest of times. To know Him is to love Him. And if you do know Him, then you know His dedication to His home basketball team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Josh could tell you the stats on every player, and any bit of information that you needed to know, he would tell you. His favorite hobby is playing basketball video games with his dad and friends. And Josh has not been able to attend school since April, but he has special friends that come to visit him at the rehab center, and of course they have to play basketball video games. Josh has been to several games with his dad before, but because he is in a wheelchair and because courtside seats have never been in their budget, he has never been able to get close enough to try to even get a high five or see the players close up when they go through the tunnel. He has met Rumble before and got to have him as his helper for one of the Courage League baseball games. And that was such a cool experience, but meeting an actual player would be a dream come true for Josh. After thinking about something that would be the most special to him, a visit from a Thunder player would probably be at the very top of Josh's list. Or even better, sitting courtside for a basketball game and seeing them up close and personal, and possibly even getting to meet a player or two. Josh is by far the world's biggest Thunder fan, and he would be overjoyed, ecstatic, over the moon excited about meeting a player face to face. Lastly, every couple of weeks, the therapy team meet with Melissa and Jay to give them an update and an expected release date for Josh to go home. At the last rehab team meeting, they let them know it looked like Josh will still need rehab for another 6 to 8 weeks. 6 weeks puts them to November 30th, and 8 weeks puts them into December. Because Jay and Melissa are getting trach and ventilator training, they are hoping that they can break Josh out of there for a therapeutic leave, even for a few hours on the weekend sometime soon. And really hoping and praying that if they aren't able to leave sooner, that they will be able to take a leave on Thanksgiving Day and spend that day all together with their family. Now, foremost and finally, I would like to share with you my ultimate reason for making this video and sharing it with everyone. Since Josh was admitted to the hospital back in April, myself, Melissa, and a host of other friends have been trying our best to see if we can arrange a special visit from a Thunder player for Josh, or better yet, courtside tickets to a home game. So far, we have been turned down at every corner. I even went so far as writing a letter to every single sportscaster in the Oklahoma City area, but the response was it was simply out of their hands. But I'm not going to accept that. I know that courtside seats are beyond expensive, but I also want to believe that there is someone out there that has been touched by Josh's story and would like to bless him. Because of Josh's medical condition, it would be required that, in addition to his dad, Josh would have to have his respiratory therapist go with him to a ball game. The therapist has agreed to go. This would simply be precautionary, but Josh has improved enough that he can go for extended periods of time without the breathing machine connected to his trach. Being able to sit courtside at an Oklahoma City Thunder basketball game would be the ultimate of all miracles for Josh. I am creating this GoFundMe so that hopefully we can raise enough money to buy courtside tickets so that we can make this young man's dream come true.
Josh,
and maybe even provide him a
all the
Christmas
people that are
miracle.
praying for you?
Thank you. Thank you for praying for me.